Hey there, welcome to Product Marketing Maestros, Tales from the Front Lines. I'm your host, Nitin Karthik. As the author of the best-selling book, Product Marketing Wisdom, I've always found that real-world case studies are the true litmus test for the effectiveness of any product marketing strategy. And that is why on this show, we dive into the minds of industry titans, as well as rising stars, unpacking their expertise in action-packed episodes that showcase the power of product marketing through real-world case studies. And today, my friends, we are joined by product marketing maestro, Evie Bickes. Evie is a B2B SaaS product marketing leader with over 8 years of experience turning complex products into clear, compelling market stories. Currently, senior manager of product marketing at Cedar, she drives positioning, competitive intelligence, enablement, and go-to-market strategy for AI-powered healthcare solutions. She previously led marketing at TradeTracks, where her strategy helped increase enterprise product trials by 300%, website traffic by 373%, and daily user engagement above 90%. Evie has also built marketing programs for startups, including Chassis and Quick, blending customer insight, crisp messaging, and cross-functional execution to help companies move from complexity to commercial growth with confidence and clarity. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Evie Bickes. Evie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. And I want to bring you with me everywhere. That was an incredible intro. Thank you.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm honored to do my part, and it's an honor to have folks like you on the show. So really thank you. And Evie, I'm super excited because today we're going to give the audience a situation from your experience, and we're going to break it down using the ABC framework. We'll talk about the antecedents, the prior challenges. We'll talk about the behaviors, the actions you took, and we'll talk about the conclusion, how things worked out. So with that, pick a situation, Evie, and tell us what were the antecedents? What were the prior challenges?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to talk today about a launch that I led earlier this year at Cedar. So Cedar is a patient financial experience platform. It's in the health tech space. And we were launching our AI-powered personalization engine called Cedar Intelligence. And I know that's a lot of buzzwords. We're going to get into that because that's kind of part of the challenge. So there were really two main challenges going into this launch. One is there is so much AI in health tech right now, but I feel like a lot of product marketers are trying to figure out how do they prove that their AI is not just AI slop, as they say. There's so much out there. There's so much vaporware. So how do you really make this very abstract thing tangible? And then the other challenge was specifically within the revenue cycle management space, which is where Cedar plays. The word personalization is so overused. Every single one of our competitors has some level of personalization. And so our prospects are really tired of hearing it. They kind of tune it out. They don't believe it anymore. And so the main challenges were, how do we make our AI claims really stick? How do we prove them? And how do we cut through the noise of the rest of our market? And then we had some really big stakes going into this launch. We decided that we were going to be a sponsor of an AI conference, one of the biggest in the country, called HumanX. We were going to put our CEO on stage for a masterclass. We were hosting a media reception. So there was a lot going into this launch. And so we needed it to be an amazing impression. And so it was on me to really, and the team, to really figure out how do we make this tangible and believable and something that was really going to be effective, not just for this launch, but beyond the launch as well.
Wow, look at that. No pressure. I mean, you got all these stakes going on, your CEO doing a masterclass. Oh my God.
Yes,
So this is amazing. And I'm sure there are folks in the audience who may be relating to exactly the kind of stress that you were under. So thank you, Evie, for telling us about the antecedents. Now let's talk about the behaviors, right? So given these challenges, how did you and your team actually guide your actions to solve these challenges?
Yes. So we knew that this wasn't something, these challenges were not something that we could overcome with just a really good slide deck. You know, we decided this was an opportunity to really show and not just tell. And so we wanted this to be something that was really interactive. The tool that we used to really explain Cedar Intelligence, we wanted our prospects and the audience, the media reception audience, to be able to really actually get their hands on it. And we thought this is the way that people are going to believe us. And so we decided to make an interactive app, basically, that showed how Cedar Intelligence works and then the impact that it actually has on patients. And with my background in product marketing and then previously in journalism, I knew a really key component of this was going to be the stories that we told. So we had to kind of balance this very technical, very complex, I would use the term kind of bowl of spaghetti logistics about how do we explain how Cedar Intelligence is actually taking these different patient attributes, things like insurance stability, payment behavior, digital usage even, and turn that into the actual recommended journeys that the patient is going to take, and then the impact that that really has on those patients. So it was kind of a balancing act between the technical side and then this really strong storytelling opportunity that we had. But at the end of the day, we knew that this had to be real and compelling and, again, tangible. So I kind of brought this up at the beginning, but we invested a lot into this interactive demo. And so I wanted to make sure that this was not something that was just going to kind of live on our website after the launch. I wanted it to be usable and have legs after the launch too.
Wow. Building your own app, trying to, bridge the storytelling with all the technical stuff. Amazing, amazing. So now, Evie, bring it home to us, right? So tell us about the conclusion, right? So tell us, how did things work out?
Yeah. So ultimately, this interactive app made Cedar Intelligence real, which was the whole goal. So those attribute sliders, that made our AI really tangible, something that users could actually experience and play around with themselves. And then the patient stories really made it believable and kind of hit home. And so I remember when I first shared the final interactive demo with our sales team, one of the sellers said, "This is so cool. Our competitor is definitely going to steal it." And I take that as the highest compliment. And so we ended up using those patient stories throughout that masterclass. We had kind of touchscreen kiosks at the media reception, and it was really rewarding to see people go up, start using the app and go, "I get it." It would click for them how this was really different. And then it wasn't just through the launch. We also used this for accelerating deal conversations. And then recently we went to a conference called HFMA, which is a really large healthcare conference, and had those kind of touchscreen kiosks on the floor as well. And we saw a 71% year over year increase in our qualified conversations coming out of that event. So it was proof that this worked. It was proof that when you are going into a launch where you have a lot of your competitors making similar claims, or maybe you're trying to explain something that is really intangible, that showing, not telling, allowing people to actually interact with the product, or figuring out a way that they can interact with it when it is something that is a little bit more ambiguous, like an AI layer, that is really going to help you drive that story and the value home.
Wow. Unbelievable. Look at that. There were two things, I think, from that beautiful story that I just wanted to highlight for the audience. One is the show, don't tell. So I love how instead of, doing some slideware death by PowerPoint, you actually develop the app. And so people can actually see, how this works. I love that. So I think that's a great takeaway. Another takeaway, you talked about how the competition may want to steal it. I'm reminded of the saying, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, right?
Exactly.
If other people want to imitate you, especially your competition, that is flattery. So folks, don't be worried. If your competition tries to steal your ideas, that basically says that you're doing something right. So absolutely fabulous. Evie, thank you so much for that story. Now tell us, Evie, if people wanted to find more about you and what's next for you, where can they do that?
Yeah, I'd love to connect with people on LinkedIn. And if they are curious about what we're cooking up next, go ahead and follow the Cedar page.
Follow the Cedar page. Excellent. Absolutely fabulous. So thank you, Evie. Folks, there you have it. Please reach out to Evie. And for even more insights, check out my best-selling book, Product Marketing Wisdom, at productmarketingwisdom.com. And see you next time on Product Marketing Maestros.